Because I take a step back and try to unravel what's gone on. And what is astonishing about this, truly astonishing, is the way in which children get rinsed for a serious amount of money. Students get rinsed for a serious amount of money for their rent. Do you know, I think, I still got a grant for my accommodation when I started university. And you know, as you know, I come from quite a comfortable background. And that means that for me, this is a big difference in outlook, actually, because for me, my local education authority paid my rent. So, did it? I actually can't remember. The point being that it was not abnormal for people to be having their rent paid. That now you have to take out a loan to pay that rent. And what seems to have happened is that people have spent thousands of pounds up front for a term's accommodation, after which they've been told that they'll probably be doing remote learning, or they won't be going to campus. They won't be doing F2F teaching, acronym fans, face-to-face. And then they, on top of that, are being told within days or possibly even within hours of arriving at college. So they've got thousands of pounds worth of debt to stay in a flat in a town where their college is, but they're not going to be going into college anywhere near as much as they thought they were. And the decision to lock down these campuses, to lock down these halls of residence, appears to have been taken after they arrived, but very, very shortly after they arrived, in a sense that means they must have known. And now, I don't know. You've also got the problem that the maintenance grant, of course, doesn't actually cover the rent. So these children are all bringing up. I've got to stop calling you children. I'd be so offended if I was listening to this at the age of 19 and I had some bearded buffoon on the radio calling me children. All right, Grandad. But anyway, they've got a serious amount of debt. They can't go to college. They can't go home. It's now been suggested they might not be allowed to go home for Christmas. And the bit I don't get, personally, is the mental strain that puts on them. I believe it. Don't make any bones about that. I completely get it in the abstract sense. But as I say, because I belong to that curious cohort of students who arrived at university actually sort of utterly unfazed by the prospect of not sleeping at home, of being away from home for weeks on end. I don't have a proper handle on what some of the psychological or mental health impacts of this scenario might be. Okay, so that's the what of it. My crack at the why is that these student accommodation facilities need the money to stay viable. Now, another thing I don't know is whether or not they're private companies. I'm pretty sure, but again, I've got this 30-year time lapse. I'm pretty sure that the halls of residence we stayed in our first year were owned by our universities or the shared halls of residence, where you'd have people from King's College, UCL, Imperial, SOAS, all in like shared. They must have been owned by the University of London itself, I think, like the Union buildings are. But looking at some of the stories coming out of places like Manchester this weekend, I did find myself wondering whether or not there would be a financial explanation that was not entirely, what's the word I want? I was going to say kosher, but that suggests wrongdoing of a criminal nature. I'm certainly not suggesting it. Should we say morally questionable? Get the kids in, get the money in the bank, and then we'll worry about the coronavirus. I just got a whiff of that, which I'd like you to get rid of if you can. But